to Microsoft Build 2019. It's not working. Okay, so I'm Omri Armstrong, here with Ran Brewer. We're both software developers working for Microsoft Power BI. And here with us is Matthias Engblom, who is the CDO of Teleopti. And we're going to talk about developing with Power BI embedded analytics. So we all know that businesses rely on applications for everything from sales, talent, manufacturing, and many more. These applications provide users with information they need in order to do their job well. However, fewer than 22% of employees have access to this data, so they can't really make informed decisions. In some ways, this number being so low makes sense, because delivering even the minimum is fairly complex. You need to be able to connect to a variety of data sources. You need to be able to create visualization that makes sense, and rendering on all types of devices. So if you want to deliver an analytics solution for your users, you have a couple of options. You can either build it your own, or you can buy it. Three groups will greatly benefit if you choose to buy an analytics solution. First is your business. You can achieve faster time to market. You can stand out in the marketplace by harnessing the power of world-class analytics engine, and even create new revenue streams. Second are your developers. They can focus on your product and not doing analytics features. They can respond to customers' demands in time. They can take advantage of all the tools, resources, and documentation already available. And they can use all the libraries that you already done for them. Last are your customers. They can explore data on any device right there in context of your application, creating stickiness. They can make decisions based on facts and not opinions, and they can immediately take action on something they've seen in their data. So why choose Power BI Embedded? When you choose to use Power BI Embedded, you're choosing to adopt decades of analytics expertise and give users access to the continuing investment Microsoft makes in business intelligence, data analytics, and AI. You get total control of your visuals and features. You can choose the best way to visualize your data and the best way to make it feel a part of your user flow. It is easy to manage and maintain using our SDKs and APIs and tools. You get flexible pricing and no end-user licensing. Also, for a few years now in a row, Gartner, a leading analyst firm, has named Microsoft a leader in its analytics and BI platform quadrant. You'll find us in the upper right corner of this table. Looking specifically at leaders in embedded analytics space, Microsoft is also named a leader. You'll find us in the upper right of this table as well. Now I would like to welcome Matthias Engblom, CTO of Teleopti, to demonstrate how they harness the power of Power BI Embedded to enhance their application.
All right, thank you. So since I work for a slightly less known company, I'm going to start with a short introduction of Teleopti and what we do, and that also serves a bit of a background to the decisions we've made when we decided to go with Power BI Embedded. So we're a Swedish company. We do one thing and one thing only, and that is workforce management. We're not that big. We're about 200 plus employees, about 100 of them working in tech. But given the size, we're quite global. We have 17 offices around the world. We have 800 customers spread over 90 countries. You can see on the map here, the blue countries is where we have customers, and you can all see our offices as the orange dots. We've been around for 27 years, so we've been delivering a lot on-prem. They used to be our main business, but currently the vast majority of the business is as a service, and then we use Azure as our platform and deliver our service. You can also see some of our customers here. Basically, there's anyone with a contact center. We're doing mainly workforce management for contact centers. So anyone with a contact center, traditionally banks, insurance companies, telcos, and so on. But we also see a lot of newer businesses, such as online retail and streaming services. You can find those companies as well among our customers. So what is this workforce management that we're working with? Well, basically, it is getting the right agent or employee at the right place at the right time. So we do this to solve a couple of business challenges about customer experience and reputation. Customers want to get service fast, and they want to get good service. Your employees, or our customers' employees, want to be happy, of course. So they need a good schedule, a good working schedule. And also we need to use the staff efficiently. So it's all about building the most efficient schedule that also keeps customers and employees happy. And we do that so it's basically, we do it with forecasting. We forecast the workload, and you can turn that into how much resources you need to schedule at any given time. We do it through automatic scheduling based on those forecasts, but also work time legislations, personal preferences of the employees, and so on. And then there's a feedback loop where you want to do performance management and see how did I perform with this schedule I produced. So why Power BI embedded? Well, the whole process, workforce management process, is very data-driven. You start with data, with the numbers getting in from some source, normally like a contact center platform, handling calls, chats, social media, and so on. You get the number of calls, and you do forecast on that. Numbers and data is part of the scheduling, and also, of course, in the performance management feedback loop. So we need reporting capabilities, and we've been able to deliver this with a custom reporting tool, also a third-party tool we used for our on-prem customers. Unfortunately, it didn't work in Azure because it used OLAP cubes, which wasn't available in the analyzed services in Azure. So we need to get an alternative to that, and we need it to be better than we had on what we can deliver on-prem, because we want our customers to go to the cloud. We want as many as possible to do that migration. It has to be a good license fit to fit in our model, how we sell our services. And we want to be a part of the Azure stack, because we're using Azure to deliver our service. We want this to be a service. We want the service in the background to also be on Azure, of course. And we want to be easy to deploy from Azure DevOps, where we have our own source code, we have our task tracking, we use Azure DevOps boards, and so on. Right, so let's have a look what we have built. So here I am signed into my Teleopti WFM tenant. So this is actually schedules of a bunch of agents, but that's not why we're here. So I'm going to go to Insights, which is the Teleopti product built on top of Power BI embedded. So what's happening now is that I'm getting my read access token from Azure AD, so I can read the reports that is in my tenant's workspace in Power BI. And here I got a few reports. Can go ahead and open one. And there you go. So this is a report showing number of calls that you answered, number of calls you abandoned for each day of the week. And you can also see some of the language support. So this is Swedish, weekdays. You can do click around and see the service level for each of those days, meaning how many calls you answered within your target. You can see what a media type, if it's chat, if it's phone calls, and so on. So now I'm only in a view mode, but I also have the permission to do edit. But that permission is handled on the Teleopti server side. So that's where I keep the read and edit permissions. So if I didn't have that permission, I wouldn't have this edit button, but I do. So I click it, and now I'm getting a new access token from Azure AD, giving me the right to edit my workspace. So here I can update this report if I want to. I can go ahead and add another page, and maybe I wanted to do some analysis about absences during the month. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add some. Let's add day and month as column and do like year and month as a row, and then on top of that I'm gonna add full day absences as values. And now it got really small. But basically here I can see my numbers, how much absence I had per day of each of the months. Maybe I want some nice, more like a heat map, so I'll do some conditional formatting on this. And I want to go from white to red. And there you go, I got my heat map. So it's a lot of like powerful stuff you can do here by just using Power BI embedded tools. All right, so back to slides. Yep. So this was released a few weeks back. We got some initial feedback from the first customers. So this is from Addison Lee, which is a company providing like premium ground transportation in the UK. They have a 24/7 customer service. And this is some quotes from both like the WFM analysts, which is the person really like working with this all day, just doing workforce management. And the way she could build her report made her look like a genius when she can use all those like nice graphs and tools and maps and everything. But I also have like the team lead more working on the floor among the agents, coaching them. Can also get the access to numbers that they didn't have before. Before they had to ask someone to run those reports, like using SQL and get all those numbers out. Now they can have like pre-made reports showing performance metrics, and they can use that when they're coaching their agents. So that is some of the benefits for the customers. Obviously, we as a Microsoft partner also get a lot of benefits, we as developers. So this was actually built in about 10 weeks with a team of four developers. So compare that to if we would have built it by ourselves, it would have taken years, or a majority of our like 100 tech people to build it. And it really feels like an integral part of Teleopti WFM and using the Power BI client library. Really nice to be able to use the existing structure around security. So we make sure that each customer only has access to its own data, its own workspace. So Teleopti is full multi-tenant, but we can have a number of instances of Teleopti, but the instances doesn't necessarily have to map to Power BI instances, but you can figure that out. You can make it all happen just using the built-in security. It's also nice to be able to use the Power BI API for server-side handling of the reports. So we can add metadata of the reports, like who created it, when was it created, when was it updated, and stuff like that. So we can keep track of that. And I'll get back to that when we look at what we're planning to do ahead, what improvements we have in the pipe. Some of the things we picked up and learned that we thought was really good during this process. We have automated every aspect of setting up the environment, including creating the Power BI workspace, and we use the combination of PowerShell scripts that are calling the Power BI API, Azure DevOps deployments of reports to Power BI, and ARM templates to deploy Azure Analysis services. And also interesting, if you look at the very top there, you see tags with like 8.8.560 and so on. That is version numbers from the Teleopti WFM main application. So those are the versions that have been integration tested with this version of Insights, the reporting module built on top of Power BI embedded. And that integration testing is actually done in TeamCity on-premise services at Teleopti, and then when the integration testing is done, or actually the main system is built there and it's integrated and tested with Insights, and then we tag with the right version so we can keep track of what versions we use together. We use Azure Durable Functions to refresh the data. So I have ETL job running that moves data from our application database and from like the underlying sources like the contact center platforms to populate our analytics database or reporting database. When that is done, it triggers Azure Durable Function that updates the tabular model. And that is connected to Application Insights. So this is a screenshot from Application Insights where we can see how long each upgrade of that data took. And you can also do like really in-depth error analysis from Application Insights, which is very powerful. Looking ahead, one thing we should do is move to the new workspace model. We're using the older one. Moving to the new one will simplify things around authentication. We can use service principals and things like that instead of, and now we actually have Power BI users connecting to our tenants. We want to add time zone support. A lot of our customers are spread among different time zones, and obviously you want to be able to view your reporting data from different time zone perspectives. Currently it's only one time zone, but this is development we will do. Find a good way to do that without getting the data to explode in size, and there's a lot of those many-to-many relationships when you start working with time zones. We want to support private and shared reports, and this is where the metadata really comes into play. I want to have my own reports that only I can view, and then maybe I want a set of reports that I share with my manager, another set of reports that I share with my team. To be able to do that would be really, really powerful. And we're hoping to create sort of a marketplace where our customers can show their favorite reports to each other and be able to export and import those reports. So like the Teleopti Insights users can knowledge share in that way. Export of reports, something we need to build so you can like produce a PDF file and send it off in an email from Insights. Also deep linking of reports. So if I like have a really nice report with filters and stuff showing that we did an extraordinary job yesterday, I want to just be able to copy that link, send it out and say, check out these numbers, we did awesome yesterday. And also, especially when we do export of reports, we want to have like user-defined themes. You want our customers want their logo on the reports and their colors and so on. Also an improvement for the future. Right, with that, I'm handing back to you.
Thank you, Matthias. Really cool to see what you do. Okay, so after seeing Power BI embedded in action, let's do a quick overview of the product. So Power BI embedded is basically a set of APIs on top of two platforms, Power BI and Azure, based on a data layer. There are three types of APIs. There are Power BI REST APIs, which allow you to manage all your analytics objects and onboarding of new customers, embedded reports, dashboards, and tiles. There's a really cool feature, if you're already familiar with it, which is a Try It Now feature, which basically, if you go to the online documentation of the REST API, you actually can try it yourself there, right there, and get responses. It's really cool. The second set of APIs are the Azure APIs, which you use to create and manage capacities. And the last one is Power BI JavaScript API, which enable client-side integration and interactions. So on the right, you can see a structure of a typical SaaS application. On top, you have the application user, who after authentication, he can interact with the application. The application itself has Power BI analytics integrated inside of it, and it all sits above a storage layer. We will now discuss each of the layers. So the first layer is the application storage. Power BI supports out-of-the-box in over 90 data connectors, such as direct query, cache, real-time, on-prem, and many more. And if you can't find a connector that you need, you can even create your own custom connector. Second is the application. You can integrate analytics seamlessly into your app workflow, and you can use the bidirectional API to increase engagement. This bidirectional API is the Power BI JavaScript API. So how does it work? What you see here is a client application, and inside it, you can see an embedded report who is hosted inside an iframe. The embedded content and the application communicate in two ways with the JavaScript APIs. Now we'll call Run, so he can show us our playground and demonstrate how you can use and harness the power of Power BI JavaScript APIs.
All right, so the first thing I want to show is that try it now. We mentioned we've just introduced any REST API that Power BI provides. You can find it here in the documentation. And every API, you'll see this small green try it now. It would require me to sign in with my own account. And it's basically a playground for REST APIs. I can now fire this call and see what the workspace is that the user that just signed in has for this get groups, and it works with every other one. Now for the JavaScript API, I'd like you to just remember one key thing, and that's AKA MS PBIJS. It rhymes, it wasn't supposed to rhyme, it happened, but it's easy to remember. This is all you need to know about Power BI Embedded. Okay? If you're considering using it, if you're already using it, if you're using it and want to find out what's new with Power BI or what's supported with Power BI Embedded, this is the only place you'd probably need to go where you can get everything. Okay? We'll go through everything to see how we can read this playground. The first thing I'll see is everything that I can embed with Power BI Embedded. I can embed a report, a dashboard, a tile, a report visual, and even Power BI's Q&A natural language processing experience. If I click on one, we'll try the report for now because this is the rest of our session later. I see that every aspect of embedded is shown here. I can see what the mode that I want to, and Matthias just showed us how he enables creation and editing of existing reports. I'll just choose view for now. The type of embedding, which we'll talk about later in this session and tomorrow's session in depth. The three key things that I need to embed a report or any Power BI entity would be a token, an embedded URL, and some type of an ID. We're going to embed a report, so this is a report ID. Okay? On the middle side here, you'd see a JavaScript code. This code will serve us later on developing and experimenting, but this is an actual running demo of how you can use this JavaScript SDK and what are the specific schemas, contracts, and API calls that you need to run every possible capability Power BI Embedded gives you. And if I click Run, all is going to happen is here I'm going to get another embedded iframe. Now keep in mind, this is an actual application that runs Power BI Embedded and also sells Power BI Embedded because we're developing it. And this whole application is open source and you can get it on GitHub too, so you see even how we develop Power BI Embedded to show you how to develop Power BI Embedded. Here you can see an actual report, living report. I can slice, dice, everything that Power BI gives me with full interactivity, just an embedded report. Now, the key thing here is on the right, I see a console. We'll use it later for events and everything that happen in Power BI. You can see that I can get events unloaded on when the report is rendered. We see 3 renders because every interaction I've had with the report re-renders some type of a visual. And I just had the interact tab fire up as soon as I've embedded the report. Here I can see every capability that is introduced with report embedding. And I'll see the same with dashboard embedding, Q&A, tile, and visual, like I said. And notice the yellow dots here, they signify new features. So if you go here like once a week, once a month, you'll see every new feature that's been introduced. Like I said, everything you need to see ever in Power BI Embedded is this site right here. I can go and play with maybe the filter. I'm just going to filter the region to be west. If you want to see it, it actually works. Here we have 3 regions. And if I run this code right here, the report just filtered everything, and I can see just the region that is west. We have a lot of capabilities regarding navigation too. I can have a different button in my application that sets a new page. It just navigates to another page. Okay, and we have a lot of advanced capabilities. We've talked about entering edit mode. It's as easy as switch mode to edit, switching back to view. We can enable an external save and save as experience for my users. We'll talk about menu extensions in a while. Custom layout. The report also works on a mobile application. On a mobile layout that I've set up in Power BI Desktop. Everything I ever want to do with Power BI Embedded is structured right here with actual running code. But I guess you're wondering how I can construct everything into my own application. This is why this is a new feature in the playground itself. That is the showcase. The showcase is sample solutions and sample stories that Power BI Embedded team has created to share experiences that you might need to consider. And of course, you can utilize different capabilities combined together, all right? You can control the dynamic layout of a report page using this showcase. You can capture bookmarks and share them and apply them in different states of the report. You can personalize the report design however you want. The one cool one I wanted to show you today is the insight to action one. And we'll go ahead and go over that extension together. What I'm doing with Power BI Embedded now is I have a report that shows my the customers I have and what was the last time they purchased something from me. And of course, I want to address those who didn't purchase anything for a long time. That's why they're showing up at first. Okay. The next thing I'm going to show you is a combination of our menu extensions API and our exporting data API, which I can use with that menu extension to create a new campaign for those who left the company or are not interacting with my company in the second time. I can slice the data and maybe focus on those who have not purchased anything from the outdoors selection section, who is underperforming as opposed to other ones. If you see here, I don't know how you're familiar with Power BI in general, but usually we don't have a start campaign button right on the report because Power BI offers a lot of capabilities, but start campaign is a little more specific to my own business. What we did here is we extended the Power BI context menu to include this button right here. And if I click it, this pop-up right here is something I built for my application. This is not a Power BI hosted experience, but I already see that the data that was inside my visual itself already is populated here. And this is how we use the export data from the visual and to get the selected experience there and use it in my own experience. So this is a way that embedded can be really embedded into my application. You didn't see where Power BI ended and where my application began. And I can just select these two right here because for some reason I'm not targeting Brazil for the purpose of this demo. And I can send a coupon that would populate with the name. And just like that, I've taken insight to action on my own report. So this is one. We want to show you another one that is coming really, really soon. And this is a new one, which we call the Create Visual on the Fly. These are a set of APIs, Power BI Embedded, will be soon to release. And these APIs allow you to create visuals and modify visuals as you run your application. You no longer need to write and my application on the right, 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 and my application on the left. I just issued everything I want for the application to be able to allow other users to create their own insight over my own data. I don't need to author my own visuals. I'm just going to create a map and maybe get the location by state, the size to be units, and the visual was just created, just like that. I maybe want to add a legend. I don't like the title so much, so I can make it disappear, or maybe center it on the stage. Maybe create a new one, which is my new title for the purpose of this. I'm not good with names. And I can now even use the print capabilities of Power BI to just send this report to whoever, or export it to a Power BI, to a PDF or anything like that. Just a report that was created on the fly using just those JavaScript APIs. Back to you.
Thanks, Ron. So we'll be moving on with the rest of the layers. So the next layer is building a multi-tenant solution. This layer defines the separation level between customers or tenants. You can use either a single or multiple tenant workspace solution, and we will discuss this later in the session tomorrow in more details. The next layer is responsible for authenticating the user. There are two types of embedded solution you can implement. You can either implement an embed for Power BI users. If you use this case, then the end users must be an AAD and Power BI users. The user management is done in Power BI, and only the consumption is through the external application. All the rest is done in Power BI. The second type of solution is embed for non-Power BI users. In this case, the end users do not have to be Power BI users, and authentication is done with a master user or service principal. Now, a master user is just a single Power BI Pro license who represents your application, And a service principal is a security principal who is linked to your application and can be used instead of the master user for API calls and authentication. Again, this topic will be discussed in more details tomorrow. Now, if you're authenticating for Power BI users, this is really important to understand, then you own and manage the users, and you own and manage user permissions, and you do that by issuing an embed token. Now, when you're issuing an embed token, you decide what can be accessed, how long it can be accessed, and what data can be seen. So this is how you will create a Power BI embedded solution. So first, you need to create some content. You use Power BI Desktop for it, or again, you can create on the fly if you already have a data set. Then you need to set up an embedded solution. After that, you use our REST and JavaScript APIs in order to create your solution, and then you can deploy your app. Now I'd like to call Ron again. He will show how easy it is to set up a working Power BI embedded solution in minutes.
All right, so at this point, I'm sold on Power BI Embedded, right? I played with the playground. I want to start developing Power BI Embedded. The third thing I need to show you here in the playground, again, only place you want to go to learn about Power BI Embedded, is that documentation page. Here I can see the wiki for our JavaScript API. You can see related videos that explain in-depth stuff that I need to learn about Power BI Embedded, or maybe just Power BI. I can go to Power BI, the community, maybe suggest some features that might be considered. And what I want to do now is set up my new embedded environment. So I'll click this link. And this is just a short wizard that lets me set up everything I need to start developing Power BI Embedded. What we're going to do now is choose that non-Power BI user approach. I'm signed in. Let's call this my new app. For the purpose of the demo, I'm not going to select different scopes, but here I'll select the scopes that actually AAD needs to allow me to interact with my users' data. This will register my AAD application for me. I would need a new workspace, so I can create it right here. You can always go to Power BI and create your workspaces after. You can use the REST API to create new workspaces. I see that everything that I've just done populated here on the right-hand side. I want to upload my own PBIX file because I can. And what's going to happen now is that PBIX file is going to be uploaded into that new workspace that I've just created. And of course, it takes a while, but when it would be finished, on the right-hand side, I'd see the application ID, the workspace ID, and the report ID that were just created using this new tool. Last thing I need to do, just because we have some scopes that require some permissions from AAD, I need to consent and grant permissions to my application using this application. And I'm done. I have an embedded environment ready for code to be written. But for the purpose of easy development, the Power BI team already allows you to, or gives you, samples to use with embedded apps in them. If I were to download this application and I'd extract it to just a folder, I can open Visual Studio. I see my new App Owns Data folder, click on the solution, and one more thing. I need to put my password. Don't copy it. and just run. Okay, this is all I need to do to embed my new application. I have samples for every code that's needed. We're going to go through that later. But this is a web page running on my own computer, and this embeds the report we've just seen in the playground running. Okay, as easy as that. It took me like a minute to set up a project that runs Power BI Embedded. Just to go over some of the code that it involves. So some of the properties were pre-populated. Again, it's a sample. We don't encourage username and password on your web config. Just to be clear, you have to manage your own username and passwords securely. But here in the embed report, let me just, this is the whole flow I need to get my embedded report running. We'll go through everything. Okay, the first step would be to generate an AAD token using my username and password. This is the master user Omri was referring to. We are supporting serverless principles. If you want to learn what's the difference between the two or how what they mean to Power BI Embedded, I encourage you to come to our next session tomorrow. I think it's the same time, maybe even the same place. And now I'm authenticated against AAD. So Power BI knows me as an AAD authenticated entity. I can create a new Power BI client, which is part of our C# NuGet package that wraps Power BI REST APIs into C# functions. I can get the reports in a certain group. I can find the report that is the report ID that I want to embed. I'm going to skip this part, which relates to LLS. Again, would be covered in depth tomorrow in the deep dive session on LLS and multi-tenancy. And the main thing here is generating a token for a report. As soon as I have a workspace ID, a report ID, and the generate token request, I generate a report token, which I'm going to use. And again, if you remember from my previous demo on the playground, the three things I need to know to embed any Power BI entity would be a token, an embed URL, and an ID, the ID of the entity I want to embed. From there on, I would go to my client-side code. I would need the Power BI JavaScript SDK, obviously. I need a div that is recognizable by an ID or a class or however you want to find that reference to that ID. This would be report container. And I would need a similar code to the one we saw in the playground. Again, I'm taking the embed URL, the report URL, the token, generating a config that has everything in it. I'm getting a reference to that div that I've put in my HTML. Again, skipping LLS related, and all I need to do is call report equals Power BI embed. Okay, this would run, and the result is this page right here. So that would be my first Power BI embedded solution with code running, everything with under a minute to run. The next thing I want to do is go back to aka MS Power BI JS and see how I can integrate other solutions or other capabilities inside my running application. For this, I need to run the code, go to Interact, and let's add a menu extension. Right? I want to add this context menu by choice. So I would add a button and call a function that says add action. I would paste the snippet right here. Notice one thing that's different from the code is the name of my container, so I'll change it to report container. And I want to wrap everything up inside a function to call. So that would be add action. Just to modify some things, I want to change this to console log. And save. Now my report is still running, so I can refresh the page. And see this button here. Of course, I forgot to put a title in. Now, what this would do is as soon as I click this button, we'll see that every visual here is added with a context menu, just for the sake of this demo. Okay, so I see show data, include, exclude, drill through, and copy. No, what was the title of this one? Extension command. So if I'd run this and go again, I see extension context menu added, just like that. If I were to open the console, never mind. If I click this, it would send that alert or console log that I've added inside my application, inside my code, because the way that the context menu works is I get this command triggered event that runs inside my code. So this way I can interact back and forth like we saw with the insight to action one. Okay, I can add another functionality, which would be to switch to edit mode. Okay, all I need to do is copy this, add another button called switch edit. Again, change here from embed container, which is the sample, to report container. Save. Refresh the page. And if I click edit report, I'm into that edit report experience, just like that. So you can go ahead and explore the playground as much as you want, and it's as easy as copy and paste to get every capability here into your own application.
Thanks again, Ron. So here you have some of the developer resources we were talking about. We have the playground, and we have samples and JavaScript APIs, wiki. So take a minute to take a picture of it, or you can also download a presentation. Still seeing phones in the air. All right. So, like I said during this presentation, we have another session tomorrow where we will focus a bit more on authentication, on RLS, which is role-level security, which is really important, and also about multi-tenancy solutions. So if you're really interested in Power BI, you should probably attend to read tomorrow, I think, on Ballroom B, which is in this building. And those are other sessions related to Power BI. You can attend if you want. And that's it. I think we have some time for questions. So if anybody has a questions. Yeah. You had a question?
I'm sorry, can you just go to...
Yeah, maybe go to the microphone.
Your nearest mic so everybody can hear you.
So if you want to print to PDF, is there an embedded export to PDF function, or do you use the print to and then have a PDF driver?
So currently we have Power BI embedded supports print using the browse and print functionality, so you can print a page or using print to PDF there. There will soon be that export to PowerPoint or PDF that exists in Power BI as part of Power BI embedded or the REST API, and that's coming soon in a few months.
So basically what Ron means is you can use it now, right? But it's still not optimized. And it's a working process to do a real export to PDF.
Right now I use SQL Server reporting services pretty extensively, and I'd like to see Power BI step up its game and do a better job with PDF tabular reports.
So you're using RDL reports, I'm guessing? Are you using RDL reports?
Paginated reports. Yes.
Paginated report?
Yes.
Yeah, so again, it's a work in process, but Power BI is now going towards supporting RDL reports. So you will have the same experience as you do have now in Power BI.
Any more questions?
Yeah.
A couple of questions. The first one is there a native SDK for using and consuming Power BI widgets within devices that don't have a browser?
So Power BI Embedded right now is reliant on a JavaScript-based platform. So if you're using Xamarin or Ionic and stuff that exist in native devices but support JavaScript and HTML rendering, it would be supported. But native is not supported at this moment.
So devices like tvOS that don't have a browser, or
I'm sorry?
devices like tvOS, Apple TV, which don't have a browser.
They do support web parts
Yeah.
as part of the iOS developer suite, because we do know that we have some customers that use mobile embedding or mobile layout embedding in iOS applications using web-based
Yeah, so
parts.
iOS is, but on tvOS they have
I'm not too familiar with the
Yeah,
difference
they have,
between the
like-
two, I'm sorry.
they've hash defined out all of the WebKit interface, and you have to use a quote-unquote private API to pull it in.
We can't talk. We can't speak for the difference between the two. But any web-based, JavaScript-based widget or application should be able to support Power BI Embedded.
Okay, and then the second question is regarding the new machine learning stuff that they showed off in the tech preview yesterday.
So the rule of thumb here is anything that's supported in Power BI, you can do with Power BI Embedded. It might take a month or two to get it in pace, but anything, especially the visuals, data connectivity underlying the reports and dashboard that was shown, the key influencers visual, for instance, and everything like that is supported in Power BI Embedded.
Okay, so data flows as well then.
Right. Again, anything that's in Power BI, you can embed in Power BI Embedded. That's not a separate entity.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, there was another question.
Yeah, thank you for a fantastic demo, but I'm wondering, do you recommend like real-time data in another application that you embed Power BI as the visualization of it?
Well, Power BI supports streaming data sets and push data models in Power BI. And like I said for the previous question, if you can get a report going on top of a streaming data set or a tile that is a streaming tile in dashboards, then all you need to do is just embed it. It just works.
Okay, cool.
So I had a question about SSRS as well. You said you're going to start supporting RDL files. Do you know, can you tell me when? Or do you already do it?
No.
Paginated reports is in public preview, if I'm not mistaken, in Power BI.
Okay.
We are working on being able to embed these paginated reports too.
We're working on it. I can't give you really the timeline, but it will. I know that in a first step, it only would be for Power BI users. So in the first step, it wouldn't support embedding for non-Power BI users, but again, it's a work in progress. It will take a bit of time, but it will be supported as well.
Okay, and I have another question. Is this solution good for on-premise applications as well? I see all the examples were for a SaaS application and doing multi-tenant that way, but what if you have multiple on-premise installations, or maybe you host an application, but you have a bunch of dedicated environments that you host it?
So Power BI Embedded in particular just leverages anything that Power BI has. So, and it's a cloud-based SaaS solution. So for on-prem, it's usually the SSLS reporting services solution, because Power BI essentially is a cloud-based solution. So if you would to embed anything and not have web connections, or the data is on-prem and the connection is on-prem, you can't really use Power BI as part of that solution. If you happen to establish a gateway and everything and get your data working with Power BI, when the data is on-prem and Power BI works as PowerBI.com, the next step would be to get this embedded into your own applications.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I wanted to understand how the authorization works. Like suppose we have the service principal and all that, but the end user might be having different authorization who can see some part of the data, but reports still remain the same, but data segment might change. How do we control it? What is the best practice to do that?
So, like I said, if you're using an embedding solution for non-Power BI users, then you're in charge of what your users are seeing, right? So, for example, like I said, we're gonna talk about it more in the session tomorrow. But for example, inside the token, you can use what we call RLS, role level security. So you can like define roles for each users, and in that way, each user will get only the data that's relevant to him, for example, right? Okay. So only what you need to manage is you need to manage this token creation with the right identity inside of it, right?
Okay, got it. And you were talking about some of the features, right? Like supporting the private and shared report. So are you expecting that to be available very soon in Power BI, where we can share the reports and create the reports and all that? He was like,
Yeah, so the things, sorry, the upcoming things, it was basically a mix of things that we have to build on our side and stuff we're waiting for from the Microsoft guys to build. For example, we're really much looking forward to the PDF export or PowerPoint export or from Power BI Embedded. So was it one of the specific bullets you had a question of? Or
I was just wanted to know how like Microsoft is helping you to do that. It's all, you're gonna build it, or you are expecting Microsoft to build that?
We have very tight communication with the Microsoft guys, so we can like figure out if it's worth waiting for, if it's something that's in the plan or not, or if we have to handle it another way.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
think we're out of time, so you can address any other questions, meet us out here, or come to the booth later. We're there all day. Thank you.
Thank you.